The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with the usual pre-session chatter, a cacophony of clicks, hums, and telepathic whispers that Marcus Chen had grown accustomed to over his 3 years as humanity's junior diplomat. He sat in the human delegation's corner reviewing his datapad when she walked in. Kirithus of the Vulpine Collective. Her fox-like ears, russet-furred and tufted at the tips, swiveled independently atop her head, tracking sounds across the vast chamber with mechanical precision. Her amber eyes scanned the room with the wariness of prey in a predator's den. She wore the simple gray robes of her people, unadorned except for a single copper bracelet that caught the station's artificial light. The mockery began almost immediately. "Look at the primitive's auditory appendages," chittered Ambassador Zexthal, his crystalline form refracting light in what passed for Silurian laughter. So exposed, so vulnerable. Does her species not possess the decency of internal hearing organs? The Draken ambassador, a towering reptilian covered in ceremonial scales, rumbled his agreement. "On my world, we would consider such protrusions a sign of incomplete evolution. Perhaps the collective sent their court jester instead of a diplomat." Laughter rippled through several delegations. Marcus watched Kirithus's ears flatten against her skull, a gesture he'd learned meant shame or distress in her people. Her delegation, 3 older males with graying muzzles, did nothing to defend her. In fact, they seemed to edge away, as if her humiliation might be contagious. Marcus felt something hot and familiar rise in his chest. He'd seen this before. Different faces, different worlds, same ancient ugliness. He stood. "Ambassador Zexthal," Marcus said, his voice cutting through the chatter with surprising authority for someone so junior. "Perhaps you could explain to the council the decibel range of Silurian hearing?" The crystalline being's laughter ceased, geometric patterns shifting in confusion. "What relevance does this have, human? Humor me. 20,000 to 80,000 hertz standard measurement, far superior to most species present." Marcus nodded, pulling up data on his holographic display. "Interesting. And the Vulpine Collective?" He looked directly at Kirithus. "Ambassador, would you mind?" She blinked, clearly surprised to be addressed with respect. Her voice, when it came, was soft but clear. 40 hertz to 90,000 hertz. Our ears can also rotate 180 degrees independently and detect sound sources with pinpoint accuracy up to 3 kilometers in optimal conditions. "Fascinating," Marcus continued. "Ambassador Zexthal, your people evolved on a world with a dense crystalline substrate, correct? Sound travels efficiently through your environment. The Vulpine, however, evolved as persistence hunters on a world with vast grasslands and dense forests. Those ears," he gestured to Kirithus, "aren't primitive. They're masterpieces of evolutionary engineering." He pulled up more data. Each ear contains over 30 muscles for precise directional control. The fur patterns aren't decorative, they're acoustic optimization. The tufts at the tips? They extend her hearing range by another 8,000 hertz. And that mobility? It means she can hold a conversation with me while simultaneously monitoring 3 other conversations across this chamber, track the ventilation system's rhythm for signs of mechanical failure, and probably tell you what I had for breakfast this morning based on my digestive sounds. A few delegates shifted uncomfortably. Marcus wasn't finished. "You know what's primitive, Ambassador? Judging evolutionary adaptations by aesthetic preference. You know what's truly evolved? The ability to appreciate efficiency and beauty in forms different from your own." The chamber had gone silent. Marcus turned to Kirithus. "Ambassador, your ears are beautiful. Not despite their function, because of it. Every curve, every tuft, every muscle serves a purpose. That's not primitive. That's poetry written in evolution." For the first time since entering the chamber, Kirithus's ears lifted fully upright. The amber in her eyes seemed to glow brighter. Thank you, Ambassador Chen. Few outside my people have ever understood." "My grandmother was Korean," Marcus said quietly, though his voice carried in the silent chamber. She grew up being mocked for her eyes, for looking different. I learned early that people who mock differences are usually afraid of their own inadequacies. He turned back to the assembled delegates. "Humanity has a saying. We judge ourselves by our intentions and others by their actions. But we also learned, painfully, over centuries, that true civilization begins when we judge others with the same generosity we give ourselves. When we see difference not as deficiency but as diversity's gift. Ambassador Zexthal's crystalline form had gone a dull, ashamed gray. I spoke in haste, Ambassador Chen. Ambassador Kirithus, I apologize for my discourtesy. The Draken ambassador rumbled his own apology, followed by several others. After the session ended, Kirithus approached Marcus in the diplomatic quarters observation lounge. Through the viewport, stars wheeled in their eternal dance. Why did you do that? She asked. Your people have no alliance with the collective. Defending me gained you nothing. Marcus smiled. My species spent most of its history hurting each other over differences we invented. Skin color, eye shape, the texture of hair. We nearly destroyed ourselves over it. When we finally reached the stars, we swore we'd never judge another species by our own narrow aesthetic standards. We'd failed that test too many times to ever forget the lesson. Kirithos's ears tilted forward. Curiosity, he'd learned. Your grandmother? She taught me to see beauty in all its forms. To look at something different and ask, what can I learn? Instead of, why isn't it like me? He glanced at her. Those ears of yours really can hear everything in this room, can't they? A sly smile crossed her vulpine features. Ambassador Drethkal, 3 tables over, is planning to propose an agricultural trade agreement but fears his math is wrong. The ventilation system in Sector 7 needs maintenance within 48 hours. And you had coffee, black, no sugar, and toast with that strawberry preserve you humans are so fond of. Marcus laughed. That's incredible. You're the first person outside my family to ever think so. Her ears flicked back in what he now recognized as pleased embarrassment. Most think they're just odd. Then most are fools. Marcus raised his glass. To the beauty of difference and the wisdom to see it. Kirithus touched her glass to his, a gesture borrowed from human custom. In the viewport's reflection, Marcus saw her ears, those magnificent, maligned, perfect ears standing proud and tall, no longer hidden in shame. And he smiled, knowing his grandmother would have approved.